Despite its title, The Killer offered little in terms of action and even less in creating an interesting or intriguing movie. Released by Netflix November 10, 2023, and directed by David Fincher, the film features Michael Fassbender as the titular character, a solitary, cold, methodical man unencumbered by scruples or regrets. The plot revolves around Fassbender's character tracking down those responsible for attacking Magdala, his supposed lover. This film marks a departure from Fincher's previous hits like Fight Club or Gone Girl and Seven, lacking the dark tones, grit, and complex characters that we love to hate or hate to love. But before we dive into the review, hitting the like and subscribe button helps our channel grow and continue producing more content like this. Also, hit the notification bell for updates and future videos. Okay, let's get critical. The movie strives to emphasize that Fassbender's character, the killer, is emotionless, having perfected his ability to disconnect from the world to become an effective assassin. Through routine, discipline, and methodical methods, he patiently awaits his kills. The killer has very few lines, and it takes about 10 minutes of runtime before we witness our first kill. Similar to Agent 47 and Hitman, the audience is given little background on the character. Most of what is heard by the audience in the first 20 minutes of the movie are the thoughts of the killer. He narrates about the monotony of his activities, emphasizing his rules and routine, even the boring nature of his job, and how his cynicism and lack of empathy are beneficial for his chosen occupation. The movie is divided into chapters, and in the first chapter, the killer is tasked with assassinating a high-profile target. However, in a turn of events, he misses his target, accidentally shooting the target's escort. This leads to a series of events that put the killer on a path of vengeance, leaving a trail of death and destruction in his wake. But that would be an over-exaggeration of what actually happens in this movie. Despite wanting more from the killer in terms of story and depth, I believe the lack of background and character development is intentional. Throughout the film, you can see that while his rules keep him effective and alive, breaking or bending some of them plays a part in his character arc. Michael Fassbender delivers as expected from a cold-hearted killer, reminiscent of his portrayal of a young Magneto in X-Men First Class. The unbalanced writing, however, does not support Fassbender's performance well, with the only character providing depth and context to our main character being Tilda Swinton's. The other characters come across as cardboard cutouts, like Arliss Howard's The Client, portrayed as the typical tech billionaire with a hyperinflated ego, recklessly throwing money around without fully grasping the consequences and severity of his actions. Charles Parnell, best known for being the second actor to portray Police Chief Derek Fry on All My Children, has a brief but decent role in the film. The film's one and only action sequence is a highlight, showcasing Fincher's directorial style with more clarity, reminiscent of the gritty, compelling fights in Fight Club, rivaling Jason Bourne. Other than a few flourishes, the movie progresses as expected, with little dialogue and even less explanation. If the goal is to keep the viewer guessing or in a state of uncertainty, then mission accomplished. I'm not saying good movies need to be riddled with dialogue, but there's something to be said about intense conversations that build tension and develop character and story. However, too much is left to interpretation, and the characters suffer for it, especially the main character. If it weren't for a missed shot and a subsequent call to action, there would be no movie. The writers give no reason to care for this character, aside from his reasons for embarking on this expedition of revenge. If the killer were true to his rules, he would understand this is professional and an occupational hazard. But to drive the movie, the writers fabricate this unnecessary conflict. It would be more logical if the organization he worked for pursued him, similar to how John Wick battles continuous waves of assassins dispatched by the High Table. As the movie progresses through each chapter, hints emerge that the killer may be spiraling further down this rabbit hole of revenge. Unfortunately, the film offers no detailed explanation or resolution for this plot element, aside from a brief one-liner from the main character and a suggestive eye twitch at the end of the movie. Some critics may say that Fincher's attention to detail made the cinematography of this movie top-notch. I can appreciate the slick editing and dark tones, but this alone is not enough to carry the movie or make me care about the narrative and its characters. Now, I may lack the ability to understand the complexities of the movie, and perhaps I'm a bit harsh when some grace and understanding are needed to fully appreciate it as a masterpiece. But then I think about the hundreds of movies I've seen throughout my life, including outstanding ones for comparison, and this is not one of them. Even compared to Fincher's previous work like Gone Girl, which isn't riddled with action or dialogue, is compelling and riveting as the complexities of the characters flow effortlessly with or without words. You might need to drink coffee to stay alert and awake long enough to get through this film. And with that said, I'd give this movie 2 out of 5 stars. And that's unfortunately a generous 2 stars. That's it for today's episode of Critically Speaking. Thanks for joining us as we explore the latest movies, games, and hot topics. Stay up to date with our latest content by hitting that notification bell. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And as always, stay critical.